It is miles beneath, a demon-haunted maze that once swallowed a crusading army, the legendary Rappan Athuk, the Dungeon of Graves. A handful of iron-thewed men risk their lives, their very souls, to plunder and explore, to stop the creeping tendrils of chaos. This is their story. But the weather in Caden's Rest is currently favorable, and the skies are clear, and it's windy. And you start as usual. I'm just going to put you in the Brestle back in until we'll start making that like something that you can tell me in advance until it changes. Is there anything that you need to talk about, Magnus, with the group before you all head out?
Well, I think the idea is we're going to try to go back to level... Are we trying to finish off level 3? What are we trying to do?
I don't think we're going to be able to finish it off, but I do want to continue to explore it.
Okay.
Your plan for this week was to explore the level with the pestilence that you found.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, go ahead, Chris.
No, you go ahead.
One thing is just like whatever we can do to get healing and cure disease stuff. I don't know, Father Bloombat, I think that's maybe a question about like what would we have to sacrifice in terms of other spells to maximize cure disease?
I can only cast it once and I already have it.
Oh, is that
Is
right?
it a third level or a fourth level spell for you?
Third.
Oh my god, that's amazing that we have third level spells now.
Sneaks up on you.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know that we have any clear options beyond keep cure disease on lock. Make sure we have a lot of like healing spells available, and be extremely cautious in the face of possible infection. Because like last time, it was not a surprise what infected us. We just need to be prepared to evade those situations, because like it's just not a profitable enterprise to grapple with that stuff right now. We just don't have the necessary tools to make that stuff cheap enough to deal with that we can like make a profit grappling with it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of profit, we need to pick up treasure that we left behind, apparently.
Oh, it's just copper.
Wasn't it much?
Well, I don't see any treasure on the results page.
I don't think we got any, did we?
Yeah, I guess we
left it
everything behind. So we need to...
It was all kind of heavy and not very profitable tapestries, though, wasn't it?
I don't know.
We never got a value on those tapestries.
They
may or may not have a market value.
Yeah,
There was an expectation that they did, but we never confirmed it.
I think it's almost certain that they would be valuable.
Okay.
So I propose that we at least start with what we had proposed last time before Dalton passed away, which was that we gather the things by the exit and then have them there available, or at least take the time when we have a few minutes left of adventuring to go back and get them off the walls, which will probably take time to do, but I think it'll be worth our while.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, just explore. Now, I do want to also say, at some point, I would like to make a journey west. And well, anyway, I need or a journey first to, I'm going to call it the fisheries, the bad part of town, or the merchants' quarter, or whatever it's being called, and have a meeting with this
merchant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I getcha.
What is it? Faya Aldine or something like that?
Is it the same one I was? Was this the one that was?
Not the guy who owns the bridge. Different name.
The Arab guy.
Sounded like an Arabic name, yeah.
Oh, Pyongan or whatever is there.
That was the bridge guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should do both in one session at some point.
Yeah, so that's something that's on the docket, and the other thing on the docket is in either next session or for sure the session after that, we have to hit the road for the berry party. Yeah, because that's on the 31st, I believe. So other than that, I mean, I can't think of any other items.
Yep.
So how's Monacan doing?
Important question.
Sorry, I was trying to look at the calendar, but there's some update to it, and it's different now, which I don't like. Monacan. Right. He is... so, the thing about Monacan is, despite his bumbling as a lieutenant of the gang he was in the Forest of Hope, in traveling with you, he's a bit of a quiet professional. And you have kept in your employ with a tremendous amount of wealth that he has. He's actually a quite wealthy man. Beyond his dreams. And so he keeps going back, but he is usually quiet. But you do sense that it's possible that in that quiet nature, or not nature, but maybe concealed violence, there's a pensiveness. But he's also good at hiding it. So, I suppose Magnus's observation for the past week would be, you're not sure.
I'll leave him to his thoughts, unless I catch him looking at me, looking at him.
Right.
But other than that, I think that's probably enough for now, right? We can move on.
Yeah. One other thing is that in the intervening week, we would have had a ceremony for Dalton's passing. And I imagine that Flanagan, there's a bunch of spices that were in the third level. And if you're okay with it, I imagine that Flanagan might have taken just a pouch of it, just a sample, maybe he was thinking of getting it appraised or something. And I think Flanagan at the ceremony or after the ceremony lights a fire and just like sprinkles these spices on it. And just thinks to himself like, I don't know what these spices are, or they smell kind of funny to me. And Dalton, we're a lovely person, and you're kind of like these spices. Like I never understood you either, and just kind of a spicy person. And just want to honor your passing, and I believe what you said, that you'll live forever, and you will here with us. We'll set a memorial for you, as we always do.
One thing you notice about Dalton's passing is he is one of the least well-known, he is the least well-known of the associates of the Hounds on the peninsula. You know of his charitability, but he seemed to keep he seemed to be similar among in town as he was in the woods, keeping an eye out and being unseen. Cool. And I think is this the second ranger that's died, actually, or the first? Second ranger, yeah.
Second.
I mean the first, and so this ranger passes at least in a less enigmatic way than the first, but still, they seem to just go away, like
right,
as if they,
I'll still carve a stick in the ground and carve in my crude writing that I have. Just carve Dalton and put it into the ground where his remains lie.
Yeah, that's interesting because What do you do with his remains? Does he get like a burial, like at the chapel of Sir Galahad, or does he get like a stick?
Well, I would imagine that I would ask Father Bloombad for his. That would be up to Bloombad, I guess.
Yeah, I just wonder what Dalton would have even wanted and how that would have worked.
Right.
That's a good question. Dalton's relationship to the light was not something he spoke about much, but it was probably something he mentioned a few times to Magnus, to the effect of he wasn't a man of elaborate faith, but he described the light to Magnus as mankind's oldest and truest ally. And so whatever his relationship to the light was, it was clearly amicable. There was some camaraderie there.
Yeah.
Appreciation.
Well, then Magnus would insist on the church burial on his behalf.
Right. I mean, because that's what any normal person would get. That's the main purpose, actually, of the ground being hallowed, is so that it can contain the dead properly.
So no one digs him up and eats him.
Although you all actually didn't bring back the body, I'll note that.
We didn't.
You said you
Under
put it
the
in the room.
circumstances.
You just took the
Well, maybe
dog.
that's
Go
a part of
fetch
the
it.
mission for this time. Then maybe we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
We've got to bring back his body too.
Oh, time to go put him in the box.
All right. Well, let's hit the road.
All right.
Let's go.
And we have our hirelings, do we? Our 3 mercenaries to watch the horses.
Yeah.
I think it should be those three. The 3 that came with us to Anne's Redoubt.
Yeah, it's our faithful 3.
Yeah.
The only ones left willing to adventure.
All right.
All right. So, Magnus, the usual route, is that kind of what we're sticking to?
Yes, please.
All right. If that's the case, as usual, or at least in the past couple of months, you notice that for the first watch of the day, you still hear the sounds of civilization all the way up until you reach the saddle, where the strange gnarled roots are off of the side of the road.
Algar, for his part, is a bit more approachable than Dalton was, and yet at the same time, he's just as weird. There's at no point when he doesn't have one of his tools in his hand, maintaining one piece of his equipment or another. His weapons are preposterously sharp, and he never seems content with them. In fact, if you let him, he'll gladly sharpen yours to a degree which is frankly impractical.
I'll see what he can do with this spork here.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
It's already opened more than one vein. It opened many more before the end.
The sounds of civilization pass you by without incident as the sun begins to set, the days growing shorter. You make it to the woodline, you set up your watch with the ostlers, you tell them, you remind them of their duty to themselves, take care of the horses and flee if something is to happen or if they don't hear from you. And you make it up the hillside to the demonic mouth.
Mouth of Doom.
And from here, the mapping begins to matter a great deal once again.
I'm afraid someone else will have to lead us this time. I'm afraid I've never been here.
Oh, great.
I'm sorry.
Kai's
there-
clothes thing last time was amazing.
Is it a different entrance than we're used to, or?
No, I mean, this is simply the first time that Algar has ever arrived to this dungeon. There's no way he would have an intimate memory of its corridors, an instinctive
True
sense
enough.
of where was safe and where wasn't. That
I'll
would
have
be
to.
absurd and ridiculous. There's no
would
way that's
be.
the case.
I agree.
Flanagan pulls out all these sheafs. and sits them out on the ground right inside the mouth and tries to explain to you what they've done so far, so you have some kind of idea. So I guess if we all look at the Chris as the whatever you call it, what do you call it today?
The caller, I suppose.
The caller, right? So what are you thinking? We're going to go back down the way we went last time?
We didn't find a different way up, did we?
No, I just think if you look at the map in Otherworld Adventures, I suspect there's a link between where we came down last time and the teleport area. I mean, it's maybe.
I see. And how did we get to the teleport area?
I don't.
Wait, let me just stop, because remember our mission, which is mainly to get that body and some treasure, and let's start with that maybe.
Yeah.
And then let's consolidate everything. Actually, that's my proposal now, unless there's an objection.
Sure.
Let's spend a few turns consolidating everything near the exit, and maybe in a room, in the room where Dalton's body is, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then by consolidate everything, I mean let's get the tapestries off. Let's all that stuff, so that we don't have to think about it on the way out, in case we're low on resources.
Okay. So
Any
I can.
objections? Sorry, any objections or other ideas?
None. That sounds fine.
Fuel.
Magnus, in order to kind of equip you mechanically for this, it's simple. Some of the tapestries, which I'll include, and I'll count all of them. I'll count them all up. Some are in that room. Well, actually,
I'm not talking about. Yeah.
You're just talking about the entrance.
I'm talking about I'm not talking about the ones where we'd have to like tiptoe around the puddle of putrescence to get at them.
Okay. All right.
One room, right?
Well, that's important to know. So in that case, I'll say that it's going to take you 30 minutes.
Okay. Well then, yeah. So let's take the route back the way we came last time then.
And 30 minutes to get everything. You'll get it all there. And you said at the entrance, including Dalton's.
No. I think I'd like to put it in the room where Dalton's body is now.
Sure. Okay.
Because it's at least we can close that door and maybe I don't know, do something.
Sure. Okay. So the time would be the same. So 30 minutes. Tapestries well, in that case, you wouldn't even have to move them because they're on the way out. So you would be wasting time to do that.
Okay.
So you just keep Dalton's body and the treasure there. The Dalton's body, the treasure not including the copper pennies, and the tapestries is going to take all of your weight, and you'll be heavily loaded. So I'm going to put you in the lowest movement category. That won't affect you unless something goes wrong.
Right.
Because you're making the decision to do it at the end. Okay. Okay. So you head down the black steps. As usual, it seems to go on for a long ways. You come down here, no matter how many times you've been down here, you get the sense that it is harder to breathe. And your light sources seem to gasp for air. You make it down until a landing. There are 4 alcoves, and there is a short hallway with a door to the north and south. Where do you go?
You want me to do this, guys?
Yes, please.
Okay, so there is a door on the southeast with a skull over top. So we go through that one, and we head due east through the 4-way intersection, continue east through another 4-way intersection to a door, and that's the place with the wells. There's a room, funny shaped room with these wells, and the northernmost well is an illusion with a ladder that leads down from there to the damp area. So when we come down that ladder, we head a little bit west, and then we go south to the end of the hallway to the south. And that hallway goes west down some stairs into a little bit of shallow water, then back up some stairs. We continue west into a big room that has tapestries or murals on the walls on the north, and then a big painting on the south. And then we step through the painting. There's like a painting, or this, where it looks like a painting, but it's actually stairs that go down, 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 down into the room that has a stream of putrescence flowing from the northeast, and a bunch of doors. And actually, maybe that's the place to. Or do we want to go right to Dalton's place first, or do we stop there?
Yeah, go to Dalton's place. Let's do that.
Okay, so from there we head west. We go do west from there, and it goes a little west, a little south, and there's 2 doors in the south, or 3 doors actually. We take the central door on the southern wall, go down a corridor to the south, and there's another door. We open that door, and just across a little bit to the southeast is the door where we left Dalton, the room where we left Dalton, I think.
All right.
How's the old boy looking? Not fantastic, I'd imagine.
Yeah, not great.
Oh, yeah, it's been a week. Oh,
not
Dalton.
great.
Oh, I'm sure he'd appreciate the humor of it.
All right.
A living dead that we have to kill.
We'll simply just have to hope he hasn't decided to come miraculously back from the dead in some monstrous form.
Exactly.
All right. So you spend the next 30 minutes following that. You know, you have the murals. Let me make sure I'm not crazy here. Murals, yeah. So there are a large number of murals in the first room, and then you come to where Dalton is. You gather the items that you found. You put it next to Dalton. I think that was already the case, anyways. The room where Dalton is had oh. Wait, am I in the... Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, I don't like the sound of that.
No.
It's downright perilous.
Sorry. Yeah, so a bunch of broken barrels, some crates, much of it old and rotted, but you do find an absolutely unreasonable number of copper pennies in what is probably a tax box. A silver plate, a bag of silver pennies, 245 worth, that's 24 pounds, and then a box of spices, which is 20 pounds of spices. So this is 40 pounds plus Dalton. This is going to be 1 or 2 people here, and then everybody else would have to carry the murals, and you put all that together. So, and then 30 minutes passes as you do that. What do you do next?
Okay.
Okay.
Chris, what are you thinking?
I am. Let's see. All right. So the place where Dalton died is the red circle, is what you're thinking?
Yeah, the long, right beside that, the one.
Okay,
room.
so then item 1 is let's confirm whether or not that's the same spot.
Sure.
And that means we go south from here and take go and then head west down that west passage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you remember whether or not shall we forego trap sense right now until we're sure whether or
I
not?
guess it's just risking us 30 feet to that hallway, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there should be a bas-relief on the wall of a fat, leering face with goat, horses, What?
What? So let me. I have a quick question. I'm sorry. Who took the golden spear, or is anybody using it?
I assumed Alaric would take it, as he was offered it previously, but was sticking with the sword.
Yeah.
If you want me to carry it for the moment, I'm certainly not going to say no. It is a powerful magical weapon.
Take it. That way you can, yeah. If you want, obviously you don't have to use it. I think it's kind of funny because then another ranger picks it up, and then maybe they die, and then another ranger picks it up. It's kind of funny in a really awful kind of way.
Picking up the thing?
It absorbs the souls of each ranger as it goes along.
You wish it was that cool. No, it's just bad luck. Okay.
So
we need to make a new picture for Algar.
You
right now he looks a little too much like Dalton.
Looking ahead, you can see where the corridor turns to the right ahead of you. At the end of your lantern light, there is an old slick. It's red here, but it's not red. And your lantern light, it's black. And there's a door there. That trail, like black paint, goes off to the left. Where do you go?
Interesting. Okay, that's down below, right?
That matches. So let's just, as I say, let's at least take a turn into that west passage and have a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time to move layers, I hope.
You travel 50 feet.
Yeah.
And insects have made a feast of the carcasses of one of the second largest rat that you've ever seen before in your life. It is mostly skeleton now, but there's enough muck left about the room. The place is covered in flies and biting insects. They are feasting happily here. All the things on the floors and along the walls. It is a carnal house. That's the primary feature, anyway.
Right.
I think there was something on the wall that we didn't explore in here.
Yeah, and I will also describe the rest of the room. Sorry, that was the intro to the room. Broken crockery scatter across the floor. Directly across the entryway, there is, and I'm going to ping it here, there is a bas relief carving of a fat, leering face with goat horns.
Horns.
Oh yeah, this thing.
And there was a teleporter. Oh, that was a teleporter into a room. We did something with it, and it teleported us into a room that had metal plates in it with arrows or something like this. That's a teleporter.
This rings a bell.
Okay, I propose we head back into the hallway and go north, and take a right into the hallway where Dalton perished and head down. There's some unexplored doors and things in those rooms over there.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, so
now it's quite now. So that's my proposal. Now, of course, that takes us closer to putrescence and stuff like that. Alternatively, we could start playing around with teleporters. I'm deathly afraid of that, to be perfectly honest with you, but
I'm inclined to avoid things we are deathly afraid of. If we can't avoid things we're deathly afraid of, what could we ever avoid?
So, any other thoughts on that, or?
Yeah, start with the stuff that is not involved, possibly going to another reality, time and space.
Yes.
I'll be so brave.
So yeah, let's do that then. Let's head back into the hallway and go north.
Okay.
Until we reach that same intersection we were just at with Dalton's body and turn right there.
Okay. I'll bring you first to the alcove. So this is 40 plus 90. 30. So you still have another 50 feet. And then you keep going toward, you're trying to explore where that giant rat was?
Yes, and there's an unexplored couple of doors over there to the east. So.
All right. Another 10 minutes has passed in your exploration of this area. You come into a room that has a portcullis, and you can see that there is some sort of, again, it shows red, but this is like black, as if black paint were tossed across the floor, long since dried. And of note, there are murals in this room. They depict 5 men in white robes standing next to each other. The last figure in line has its left hand blacked out with paint. The others are not defaced in any way.
Just like the tapestries?
Just like the tapestries.
Let's, how long would it take us to get these off the walls?
To get them to the room and come back would take, let me take a look real quick. It would take a considerable amount of time to do that and come back, though. It would take you 20 minutes.
I don't see why we shouldn't.
I have no objections.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
This is fundamentally their raison d'etre.
Who's carrying the lantern?
So none of us have any kind of. None of us are cultured enough to know what these things are worth, are we?
I think I would be. I mean, I don't know about an estimate, but they're obviously pieces of high art and high culture that don't belong down here in the dark. Somebody will pay for them.
I guess I'm wondering if it comes to a choice between these and something we find later. We can deal with that when the time
we can
comes.
decide then, but looks like we have something else to decide now.
Okay, you set those.
Traditionally, to answer your question, Magnus often is carrying the lamp. I don't know if he's the only one who has a light right now, but
okay. All right, 1 hour of dungeon time has passed just as you finish putting the murals next to Dalton, and you start heading back.
Okay.
It's all going very smoothly so far.
Are we back in this room?
Sorry, so as you start coming back, let's see, Algar, roll a d6, please.
Yeah, we do not want to be surprised by things down here.
No, we do not. Nor shall we be, just barely. 2.
Yay!
Nice.
That's a great movement ability.
That's what I would
Algar,
describe as a game changer.
you start to head back into this chamber, and you probably make it back here, and you hear around the corner. So you probably are like here. You hear around the corner some screeching, squeaking noises.
I get my bow and arrow out right away.
I hold up a hand, pause. I listen. Rats. They may be diseased.
Probably are.
Have we another way around?
No. Well, yes, but it's dangerous. It's a dangerous road. It's this walkway above the putrescence, if I'm reading the map correctly.
I have no interest in such a walkway.
That walkway is that thing that's sort of a bit like not opaque. Is the ladder, the stairs going up? It's above us.
Oh, okay.
Something hungry desperately lurches out from around the corner. These things are about the size of dogs, maybe 1.5 times the size of dogs. They rush around the corner. You can see them dragging their fat bodies across the floor, just scraping this green ooze along underneath them. They have been slurping it up themselves, and they're grotesquely bloated with it.
They're infected. Take flight.
What is the plan?
I am going to book it. As such is my proposal.
That
What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that idea?
You have a few seconds to decide.
let's try to get back to the to Dalton's room then, and
Very well.
get in there and close the door.
We run away.
We're level 5 adventurers.
Hey, when they go past your hit points, your level stops being quite so important.
They are much faster than those people that are wearing armor.
All right.
Anyone wearing armor that is, I believe, plate or chain, basically if your movement rate is 9 or below 10, roll...
Alaric is below 10, isn't he?
Yeah.
I played on also.
Everybody in armor mostly is below 10.
Then retreat is not practical, unfortunately.
Yeah, or, well...
We'd merely be abandoning our more plated comrades to be devoured.
You start to run and you realize they're starting to lag behind you, make it about this far. They close the distance closer. What do you do?
I'll spin around and draw darts.
We turn around and end this now.
Yeah, melee time.
Very well. You don't lose the... Well, and actually, funny thing, the armored people are...
exactly where they need to be.
Exactly where they need to be. Flanagan has a spear. I'm putting you all back in your order-ish. Order-ish. All right, and then, yeah, awesome. D6 there, I see, for initiative. No spells. The rats...
Although it may have just doomed us all.
The rats are able to move and act
only
first.
A few of us in the worst case.
They're also able to fit in 3 feet abreast spaces. And they 2 of them attack Father Bloombad and 2 of them attack Alaric. Missing, and I believe Alaric has his posted here. Alaric is... I think he's okay.
16.
16.
Yeah.
And this thing does not hit. My monster rolls are happy with them. Alright, it's your all's turn.
Right on. How many hit dice? Do these have 1 hit dice?
They do have 1 hit dice. And your target is armor class 12, ascending armor class 12.
Nice. Okay.
I will stab in the traditional fashion. With some effectiveness.
I have 5 rolls. I need a 6 to hit. How amazing is that? Okay, here we go.
High-level fighters get pretty good.
2, 3, 4.
You said this is plus 6 to hit with these?
I need a 6 to hit for me.
Oh, need a 6, right. Okay.
Amazing.
So
I hit 4 times.
Nice.
I do 7, 3, 7, and 3 damage.
All right. You turn around and you all just start hacking these things. Father Bloombad, I think you just like baseball bat this thing. It flies against the far wall and it pops loudly and sprays the wall like a water balloon full of this putrescence. And you start popping and stabbing these down at your feet, and they splash against your mailed feet.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
All right.
Algar carefully sweeps each one to the side with the spear. That's the fashion of a street sweeper.
Okay, let's...
I'll use wine to clean off my... clean the putrescence off of me also.
Yeah, for sure.
Sensible decision.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Nice. Okay, yeah, you start trying to clean off the putrescence, and you're able to do that. All right, where do you go from here? I'm going to pan the camera into this room.
Let's have a look at that portcullis. Is it? Can you just lift it, or is there a lever, or?
Yeah, let's. I'm just moving you all so you have the light over here. I'm going to put you right up against it so you can see, and then I'm going to pan the camera here, so you can decide what you want to do with this. So it says.
Okay.
You could just lift it. You could just lift it. Now, as you approach the portcullis, it reeks. I say portcullis. I imagine it's one of those things where like you've got the grating, and then you've got the like steel door. I can't think of what those are called. And it's like rusted iron. And anyways, the stench of this room just rolls out and billows like heat from a furnace into your nostrils. It's so thick and powerful. In the center of the room is another seething, burbling puddle of putrescence. It makes your eyes water, and you want to throw up.
This is not an appropriate place for living creatures such as us to be.
Yeah. I don't think we need to go in that room.
There's it's fed from a rivulet in the wall. Similar, I'll pan the camera here. Similar to previous room that you've seen, and it pours in from that rivulet into the floor, and then you can also see that there is a door here.
Yep. Okay.
Is there a door in this room also?
There is. So let's move on eastwards through that door.
Okay.
Like in this room, or the other door in?
No. We're not going through the portcullis just yet.
Can I just ask?
Not just yet.
Yeah.
Is that rivulet traversable, Ross? Like, is it?
That's a good question. Sorry. Yeah. I think that
just because it's heading in the same direction as the other one, and so maybe there's a source up there or something.
Yeah. It is. Let me make sure of something here real quick. Weird. It is probably traversable, but very, very tightly, like a fat man's misery. Kind of squeeze your way into it, and you'd be submersed 2/3 of the way into this goop as well, if you were to do it.
Just to try to get to that door?
Perhaps if we were blessed by the light and untouched, no, not to reach the door, but rather to navigate northward from the pool.
Yeah.
Through the garbage.
Oh God.
Sorry about that.
But to get to the door that's in that room, we wouldn't have to go through the goop, right?
Nope.
Okay. We just have to hope that the portcullis stays open or prop it open somehow. But I'm more interested in exploring here to see if it connects first.
Yeah.
So.
This room,
okay.
It has no identifying decorations or furnitures. There are a few holes in the walls where the map indicates that there are torch sconces. Those sconces are not there, just the holes that would hold them. And then there is a door open to the south, and it smells also really bad, as a mixture of wet dog and feces and putrescence.
All right, but in there was treasure that we didn't get because we had diseased people and dying.
Was there?
There was.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost positive.
Well, let's go look.
I thought there wasn't. I'm willing to go.
Okay, well, let's go look.
Well, let's go double check.
There was a lot going on.
All right, you go into this room. It's a square room. The door is like the previous doors. There is the body of this more, fresh giant rat. The mites and things inside of it have not devoured all of it yet, and so it represents its own kind of local pool of putrescence, as much of its body was eaten up with pustules and pimples of this stuff, and so it just pours out around near it, and it seems to keep that sort of lively quality to it, even when its host is deceased. You see nothing else of interest in this room.
Gross.
Okay.
Wow. Very gross.
Shall we search for secret doors or anything, or shall we just move on?
We can search, but I think we should stay away from the body, like at least 10 feet. So.
Sure.
Okay, well let's Okay, so in reality, we are just north of the oval-shaped room,
Yeah.
and sorry, no, we're just. It is to our west, our southwest. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus or
Okay.
minus.
So it's unlikely that there's a secret door to the west. So let's just take a minute to search the eastern wall and the southeastern portion.
Sure.
Do you want to do a thorough search, or do you want to do a, like, you just want to know what's on the wall?
No, let's do a search.
Very well. Everybody can roll a d6.
Somebody should stand watch by the door, I think.
That will be me.
Actually, I think I'm rolling the d6, right? What am I doing?
Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, we've done it both ways, but most properly it should be referee.
I just keep forgetting. It's astonishing some of the things that I... 2, 3, 4, 6,
Dalton Algar, who is a different person from Dalton,
Yes.
covers the northern entrance and checks and uses his keen ranger senses to keep an eye out for approaching grubblies and grobblies.
Okay. An hour and 20 minutes of dungeon time have passed. Another 10 minutes of searching the room. You find nothing of interest in this room. The walls actually have been kept intact in this room.
Okay. All right, so back north into the chamber above us, and let's investigate that eastern door. Did we ever cast a trap spell near here?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that I stood here and looked in there. I did not see a trap within 30 feet.
Okay, who wants to take a turn at opening the door then?
I'll do it.
Okay, I'll go next.
I'll put up my... Okay. Someone stand beside me. I'll have my shield up, and first I'll feel the door with my fly hand and see if there's any vibration or temperature difference or anything that I might detect with my incredible senses.
Yeah, you don't sense anything, and then do you want to do like a more thorough check?
No, I think I'll just do that, and then I'll open it.
Very well.
Just check to see if it's locked, and if it's not locked, I'm just going to throw it open.
All right, yeah, it's not open. You throw open the door, and on the other side, I'm just moving you all just your tokens. I'm going to pan the camera just so you can see what's in here. And I'm going to put Magnus up here so everybody can see. So in this room, there is a rotted bed frame, a nightstand, and a wooden chest under the bed frame. The chest is already, it's broken open. You can see it's spilled out. You can see there's no contents. It's empty. There are 3 pictures on the nightstand, each of which is a charcoal sketch of a woman's face. You don't see anything of value here other than that. You do see scratches along the floor from here on the north side of the room, and yeah.
Okay. Well, let's have a look. Magnus is going to have a look at those sketches, and I suggest that we do spend some time searching around in here.
Yeah. Well, I'll move up the bed with like this, whatever's on there, with my spear first, making sure there's no mold or something, and I'll peel up. Is there actually a rug on the ground, or is that just art?
Yeah, there's a rug. It's worthless and rotted, but yeah, you peel it up and
I'll peel it up and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. You don't see anything there except these scratches that lead away off along the floor to the north, as if something was dragged. Apart from that, the charcoal sketches, they look like the artist had attempted to depict the same woman, and She looks like a young woman in a dress with dark hair.
I'm gonna roll him up and put him in the old spell sheath there.
Okay.
I wonder who this is, I say, regarding the parchments.
As
Held
do
up to
I.
time well.
As do I. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead.
The drag marks, you said they go to the north. Do they go to the wall in the north or just through the door?
Yeah, so as you follow the drag marks, you see an interruption in their path, and and then there's a bunch of rocks. But as you kind of extrapolate that, you can see that there are other scratch marks that lead up to the north wall along the floor.
I think so. Might crawl through here, everybody. Look.
Yeah. Let's focus on this zone here.
Search the northern area there.
Yep.
Flanagan, you said you searched the north wall?
Sure, I'll go up to the north wall. I'll follow the little things, even with my fingers. Like I put Darkspear back or put it on the ground and like can actually feel it with my fingers, maybe better than I can see it. These little scratch
Real
marks.
touchy-feely.
Yeah, real gross.
Yeah.
And so however that might help me.
Yeah, it does. You drag your little fly-like feelers along, and you can in fact feel where this wall will slide.
Well, look here, everyone. It's a sliding door.
Prepare yourself.
Are you all ready? I'll push it. I think I can move it. I think I got it figured out here.
Pick up your spear.
Let's stack up first.
Yes, let's form up.
Yeah,
Let's
take
not
your time.
blunder into a giant spider again.
Oh, I'm in no rush.
So I don't know if everybody's able to. We'll put Rolo back here, Alaric up front, and I assume Algar with the spear. Probably okay. All right. Whoever opens the door, go for it. Should be able to just click on it.
I do it. Click on it? You want me to click on it? Woo! All right. What's that craziness?
Whoa. Okay.
Oh, that sound gross.
Actually, and it's not real. I need a different one. Actually, the better one. This is so annoying. Ross, don't do this. But really, it's this. Actually, they don't have it, but there is a sound like it. But it's a because it's a sliding door. Anyways, you open the door and you see on the other side that there are contents in this room that have been dragged here and stored behind a sliding stone wall. There is an earthenware jar, a silver-headed light mace, a leather bag that looks very fat and heavy with coin, and a stand with an earring with an obsidian sphere dangling from it, hung upon a display. And on the same stand are 3 red scrolls tied together with a parchment note.
Well, that's fun.
I'm going to have a look at the note.
Very well. The note attached to the 3 red scrolls, the parchment is faded and aged, but it still says, "Jostle. You must attend your duties. You know you are forbidden from love, and that your vows keep you from earthly pleasures. You are not to meet with that young woman from the village ever again. The high priest suggests you return to your duties and produce these."
Okay. Okay, we've seen the red scrolls before. Are they not cure disease?
Really?
I'm asking the party because I remember we found some red scrolls in another location, maybe in when we visited the teleport level before that same time when we found the cabinet.
Oh my god. If we did, that's a great memory.
Well,
Oh, you know what? There were 2 cure disease scrolls. I had one and Caden had one.
right. Well, can we have a? Can you have a look at these? Would you be able to recognize them without, like compare them? Or?
So Ross, the cure disease scroll I used last week, was it red?
Yes.
Whoa.
Okay, so let's. I'll hand these over to Father Bloombad then, and just assume the best about them.
What luck is that,
It
hey?
does seem likely.
Well, and plus, I think we had come across another reference to this Jostle character too.
Oh, maybe. I mean, this place, if I recall, there was another area. There's another living quarters. That there was. There's that blood that was dragged around. It seems like this must have been some kind of religious area, and it was clearly overrun by pestilence.
Blasphemers.
Yeah.
Tragic.
I want to take a look at that mace.
Yeah, the maze.
You pick up the
Do you have
mace.
any I didn't pick it up yet. I'm just taking a look at
sorry.
it.
All right. You look at the mace. It is beautiful, silver-headed, light, swift. You could tell that it. And the head of the mace is silver, bladed barbs. It looks deadly and well made, and is in excellent condition. You can tell that there's nothing magical about it. But it is a silvered weapon, but a mace.
I will take that up as I'm the weapons guy unless somebody has a problem.
No, that sounds cool.
Sounds awesome.
Okay, and can we check
I
out
heard you like bludgeoning.
how many coin? What level of coinage are we talking about? Let's have a look.
Yeah.
You look at the bag of coins.
Yeah.
The bag of coins is there are 500 golden coins in here, 50 pounds worth.
Mm-hmm.
And the
If we weren't already
obsidian-
overburdened.
Yeah. The obsidian idol. What was that again?
It's like an earring.
Yeah, there's an earring hanging from a display with an obsidian sphere. Do you take a closer look at that?
Sure.
Oh, by all means.
You see inscribed on it, Rappan Athuk.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, last time I touched some dark thing, I almost died. So, if someone wants to deal with this, maybe you can put it in a bag or something. I kind of want to. If it's not going to kill me, I wouldn't mind wearing it in my ear.
Oh.
Let's let the scholar have a little time with it first.
Oh yeah,
All right.
of course. But I mean, I'm just saying.
Let's make sure it's safe, shall we?
Yeah, I would pay the share if it's worth some money, and maybe I'd wear that in my ear. Just saying. When we get back to Keaton's Rest, we got lots of time.
And do you check out the earthenware jar? It's the only other thing of interest in the room.
Yeah. Let's Monacan will have a look in that.
Okay. Monacan peers inside and easily sees gleaming within 5 golden rings, each with the light glinting off inscriptions that are on the inside of the rings.
Let's read every single one of them.
4 are failed attempts to try to inscribe "To My One and Only," and the fifth ring is inscribed perfectly, "To My One and Only." They're worth probably 50 gold pieces each.
Oh,
Well,
that's cute.
Maybe we should
Very
each wear
endearing.
one. I'll try to put one on.
Oh, I'll stop you. Careful.
Good sir. Romantic
This
intrigue is
woman-
showing, but be
yeah.
cautious.
This woman ensorcelled this man somehow. Perhaps this ring might have adverse
It's
effects
true.
on yourself.
Oh
It's
yeah,
true
she
that-
ensorcelled him. I think he may have ensorcelled himself.
Magnus says, "I've seen it happen both ways."
Well, I think these ones that aren't written right, they couldn't possibly do anything.
I would
Don't know
agree, but I'd put it in your pocket rather than your finger, at least for now.
What is this obsession with wearing things today?
Yeah.
You started talking here and move stuff around, and you move the nightstand that the thing is on. It scrapes across the stone floor, and all of a sudden the wall shakes, and as if something just falls out. A whole portion of the wall just falls out with black mass, as if some black tidal wave just pours out onto the floor, and shin high are these cockroaches like this big, and they just crawl all over you and swarm across the room everywhere.
Let's get out of here.
Yes, let's leave at once. The mood is truly killed.
Well, with the treasure.
Yeah.
All right. So, at this point, your all's movement speed is greatly reduced, unless two people can carry about 50 pounds each.
You can do that.
Very well. Okay.
I can.
Yeah.
Between Magnus and Menachen, we could take care of that.
I think I actually have some breathing room. No, actually, I'd get dropped down to 2 squares in pretty short order. I do think it might make sense to grab our stuff and get out of here.
Yeah, leave?
I mean, we can go back after we've dropped our stuff off with the ostlers, but yeah, aside from if we could drop off some of our cargo at the surface, I think that would be a sensible approach to things.
Or we could leave it with where Dalton is with the tapestries.
Oh, I wouldn't trust him to guard much of anything.
Yes.
I am in agreement with this plan.
Which one?
Just sleep at the reins for sure.
To take
Sure,
it.
he'd do his best, but
I think. Yes. Let's now take the time. I know it's a little early. Let's take the time to get all this stuff out to the horses.
The only thing is, what if our men get taken, then we lose everything?
But if our men get taken with the horses, how would we get back with this treasure anyway?
We will walk it back.
That's what
we used to do.
It would take us
tedious
between.
but valid approach.
We used to do, right?
Very respectable. I approve of a man who's not afraid of a little hard work.
Well, that may be so, but if we have to run, I think it's a much better chance that we run into something we have to run from than it is that the men get taken with the horses. And plus, they have orders to run, so they can run back with our treasure at the very least.
Yeah, but I mean, how far can you run from a dragon?
That's really up to the dragon, isn't it?
Well, I mean, Father Bloombat has a point. There's not much to. There's not as many things to fear out there these days. I mean, famous last words. But if something comes, it's going to be something that kills everything. Like the dragon.
What's that one door in that room right before, up the hallway from where Dalton's body is? There's one door, no traps behind it. We didn't investigate that.
I will note also that at this point, if you tried to carry everything, you have a new problem, because you now have, including the murals, which are quite heavy, more treasure than you could carry in one load. So you would have to make more than 2 trips, or more than 1 trip. I mean,
that's part of my point, really. It's only the horses that can carry all this stuff, and I feel like.
Yeah, it's thoroughly time to.
I don't want to leave treasure behind again and have to have another mission where we have to go back and.
Very well. Okay, so this would actually take you 4 hours into the night. So now you're looking at 3 in the morning, kind of when you'd be headed back. Do you stay out and rest and return in the daylight, or do you come back in the depths of the night into the dungeon?
Quick question. Are you including all them copper coins? Because I think we
no.
Okay.
The thing that is heavy is these murals.
And don't forget the carcass of my late colleague.
Yeah, Dalton. Yeah, it's important to get Dalton.
Our late colleague, I should say.
Yeah, it's good to prioritize.
So when you said 4 hours for both trips?
So for altogether out and back, but by the time you would get back, it would be like 3 or 4 in the morning is when you'd get back here.
Let's rest.
Very well. Yeah. So you stay out. So you leave the dungeon, you go back to your mercenaries, and you rest for the night. So you'd be over here. You have like the treasure that you found in Dalton's room, which was not much, but then the murals in Dalton's body and there was one other thing, but anyways, and then you're able to rest. To gain the full benefits of rest, you'll have to rest late into the morning, like just prior to noon. But all right, let's see here. And then that next morning, you know, do you tell them to stay with the horses as the same tactic? Is that what we're doing? And then run and flee. Okay, so you do that and you start heading back. You know, you're fresh. Everybody has food and water, and you know, and you've eaten and you've lightened your load. You start heading back, and you make it to the hillside. Let's see. Algar, roll a d6.
Oh boy, oh boy. Come on. Right spot. 2. Once again, just barely.
Algar, you see more than a dozen around you in the rocky hillside, and circling you are more than a dozen hulking, mossy-like figures, 1.5 to 2 times the size of a man.
All right.
They, several of them seem to be approaching you directly, the group directly. 2 of them of that are like, they seem to like not be waiting on the rest of the group. They're up at higher ground, and 2 of them are beelining it straight towards you, striding toward the group, and they see that you're there. They're probably 100 yards away.
I immediately alert the group to the approach of the Mossman, especially alert our wizard. And I tell the group that we are going to have to defend our prizes with our blood from at least a dozen Mossmen.
We've seen these things before, and we've seen them in several different moods. What kind of mood do they seem to be in right now?
They strike me as purposeful. They have intention. They may be. We should be prepared for them to negotiate, or to try to end our lives.
Yeah, well, let's try the negotiation first. They've run from us before.
One of the 2 that's approaching you has an object in his hands, and then they turn and look at each other, and they kind of like they look confused for a minute, and then one holds up something and waves it like this, and it's a long stretch of fabric that's white, and he like flaps it in the air.
They do indeed seem to be in a negotiatory mood.
Then let's engage in that transaction.
Did you ever speak to one? Did they ever? You share language with them? Wizard?
We don't know. They've never spoken, as far as I know.
I have common, law, neutral, chaos, and serpentine. So I don't know.
With you if you want to approach them.
Yes, I mean everybody. You know, Mana can stay back with an arrow knocked.
All right, boss. Last
yeah,
time I killed 1 in 3 shots. I think we'll be okay. And he's got his bow and arrow ready.
I'm gonna try to stay. Let's do the conversing out of troll arm range.
Sensible. Yeah. I endorse this.
Let's see.
Or Mossman arm range, whatever. You know, let's say like 50 feet away or something. I don't know.
Maybe 20 is probably cool.
As we're walking, I'll just say it's no good that these are getting this close to town. We haven't seen like something like this in a while.
It's good that they're showing appropriate caution when they do. It's unusual to see this sort of behavior from the Mossmen. Normally they're quite confident and very aggressive.
Hey. The last several that we ran into ran from us. They wanted nothing to do with us. These are showing the proper respect.
All right. So these 2, they approach whoever the lead group. It's Father Bloombad and who else?
Magnus and I hope Flanagan,
Flanagan.
and I hope Elric as well.
So everybody's coming, yeah. But makes sense.
Yeah,
so you all approach these two, and he's like, he's like waving this thing around, and then stops as you get close, and he like puts something on the ground in front of you, and then he starts backing away, and he goes, "Whoa!" And
Do I catch anything at all about his speech?
No. Yeah. And then as soon as he puts it on the ground, he runs off.
Oh,
Okay.
Do I not recognize any of that language? I
No.
speak Anglic, Indian, and a third one that hasn't been defined yet.
Well,
Apparently it is not troll.
it could be. If you have the language list, you could roll and see. Maybe you know troll.
I like that idea. Okay,
That'd be
where's the
fun.
language? Let me pull up the language list. It's been a while since I've looked at it. It's in the Otherworld Adventures and the linked things.
Well, this one would be, if you want like a monster language, it would be from the book. But where are they in this book? To be honest, I don't know. I know where they are in Old School Essentials, but
I don't know if there is a language list. Is there?
Dwarven, Elvish, Dragon, Giantish, Goblin, and various other possibilities depending on the campaign.
oh,
So
well,
let's say I'll roll 1d10, and I'll pick one of the d10 as a result.
if you get a 1, you speak troll.
All right, one sec.
That's kind of a Rappan Athuk thing, anyways. Is 1s when things happens on a D10.
Sure.
No, I speak Giantish.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, yeah, they put an object on the ground, and then they flap this thing, and they run away while they're flapping this thing around, and then
All right. Let's go have a look at the object.
it's a
I have
scroll.
I have never in my life seen Mossmen treat men with
scroll.
such trepidation. That is astounding.
We've been through a lot, friend.
And we've killed many.
But
Clearly.
I'm surprised too, I have to admit.
Killed them and served them for dinner.
I can't advise that, sir.
Well,
Kobolds.
we didn't eat them. The kobolds ate them. But
I
yes.
wouldn't advise that either.
Oh, it's much better than them trying to eat the horses, for example.
I suppose that is true.
But yeah, let's have a look at the scroll. I'm a little suspicious, just a little cautious. So is it rolled up?
At this point, all the Mossmen seem to flee, by the way. And as you approach the scroll, it unfurls, and from the scroll, the shape of a mouth appears on the surface of the scroll. It floats in the air, and it's like, "Which among you imbeciles is Magnus?"
Awesome.
I am indeed among the imbeciles. To whom am I speaking?
I see. And is your name simply Magnus?
I do have a middle and a surname.
Are you going to share it, or is this some sort of game?
I was wondering the same.
You tire me. I am Turain. Oh, gosh darn it. I forgot.
Awesome. This is such wizard shit. Far beyond. You know we're getting up
Excellent
to
wizard. This is
What's
some
that?
top-notch wizard shit. I approve.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm suspicious of just providing my name to a mouth in the air.
I would be
Yeah.
suspicious of providing your name to a wizard. They're notorious for doing weird bullshit with that.
Yes, we are.
I don't
Yeah.
remember this.
Magnus Smith.
It's like you're. There's a whole other level of strata of what's happening in the world among wizards, right? It's kind of like the first time we've seen it a little bit. I like that.
It's been a
More
while.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, here in the wilderness, Magnus has gone from insignificant to slightly more significant.
You're the wizard of this domain for sure.
Apparently, I've attracted some attention.
Regional wizard.
Okay. So what's going on, Ross?
Yeah, I had this sucks. I had like a whole list of titles that he had, and I lost them all. Damn it. That's so frustrating. Anyways, So unfortunately, I have to say that he simply spends the next 5 minutes listing all his titles.
You know what? I respect him regardless.
Yeah.
Well, when he's done, I'll say, in that case, I'll tell you that my name is Magnus Maximus, and I go by Magus in my hometown.
I would actually like to propose that we each improvise a title for this maniacal character.
Magnus, you mean?
No, not for Magnus, but for Terrain.
I was all ready to have my ego exploded.
I mean, I'm down for that too, frankly. I just enjoy coming up with titles.
I'll post them, and let me make a note here. Titles of, but he says his name. My name is Terrain, and it is time to end this charade. You have become quite a nuisance.
A nuisance?
Yes.
Really?
The Forest of Hope is my territory. It's my laboratory.
I see. And you are?
Terrain,
Terrain,
you
that's
fool.
right.
And then he just lists off his titles for another 5 minutes.
Are you the one nestled away in those hills east along the river?
I beseech you not to ask him to define himself once again.
I don't keep myself to any one location or even any one world. You will understand maybe someday if you survive long enough to gain a measure of experience like I have. But at any rate, I am impressed with your exploits, and I would like to see you live. In fact, I think you have potential. You might prove worthy of being my next apprentice.
Well, I can only hope such an honor might be possible.
Yes, you only can. But you must not adventure here in the Forest of Hope anymore. You need to leave and wait my instructions. I have plans for the forest. Things are changing, in part thanks to your meddling.
I see. And what am I to do in the meantime?
I would suggest departing back to the west. I can be sure to send for you, and I'll send you all of the information you need. Great magical power and secrets await. Assuming I do ultimately decide that you're worthy, it's under consideration, of course.
And my friends?
I would imagine they won't live much longer anyway. Magnus, you knew this when you began adventuring with them.
It's true.
I look around at all of you, somewhat alarmed. Well, it's it's far be it from me to stand between a man and his chosen profession.
Yes. No, I wouldn't want to be here. I will give you this. Don't consider it a warning, if you would. Take it only as advice, friendly advice, that staying here in the Forest of Hope and continuing to meddle among these woods, it will only mean your doom. And then the mouth disappears.
He was nice enough.
And I just started building a tower.
What were we supposed to do with that, Magnus?
Nothing. This fool merely wants to scare me.
Well, he scared me.
Yeah, well, and he scared me too, but nonetheless, we continue. We're supposed to let a man that has frightened trolls as his messengers tell us what to do?
I mean, it's worth consideration. Trolls are fierce. I do have to ask, can you do that trick where one throws their voice to have a conversation at a great distance? Can you do that?
Magnus grumbles and doesn't answer.
So there's a trick to learn.
It was your hypothesis that they weren't trolls at all earlier.
It was, although being the servants of a wizard is equally possible, considering their behavior. But I find it curious that they ran from us, assuming that they serve the same master.
Well,
but usually trolls are not so, what's the word?
Sensitive?
Pusillanimous, I was going to say, but your word is shorter.
They're always hungry.
Brevity is the first of my virtues.
I hope your vocabulary is as good as your ability to perform mites of magic if this thing comes whatever this person is comes into Caden's Rest.
Well, clearly he sees me as a man like himself, someone who sees his friends merely as tools to be tossed aside when their usefulness is ended. But I'm resolved not to be such a man, so we go on.
I would trust you to have at least placed us down gently on the ground.
You won't even feel it.
Okay, fine. This is quiet. Not really sure what.
A sardonic smile adorns my lips.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great line.
Are you all okay if, since we're making a second trip, I don't know if I'll do this in the future, but I'd like to just get back to the same point rather than...
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. It's a little non-standard because of the sheer weight involved. It's kind of like what you were talking about earlier.
No, and I'm okay with that, to be clear. You can always leave and come back and do that stuff. I think that's great. It's more so like the procedure I do, and I think actually there will be sometimes, because like if you get down to like the 7th level, and you go down and then you go across and then you go down and you go back and then you go and maybe you go up to try to access some other level, like I'll be like, no, I want you to tell me, because like I'm amazed, like your skill, Jay, and I mean, Richard, you've run this, but your memory, of course, but in terms of like mapping, it's going to start getting like horizontal and vertical at some point, and at that point, like, we'll have just kept doing this procedure. And that's the point of it. But right now, I don't think it matters. I just want to get back to the dungeon, so if that's okay with you all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Preferable.
Okay. Okay. Now, I will put you all back at the entrance because you have to travel and you have resources and all that kind of stuff. Okay, where do you go from here?
Wait a moment. My hit points are awry. I'll fix that shortly. One moment.
So where's this? We're heading down the stairs again. So I did put the on the map on Otherworld Adventures. I numbered in red where just to make it easy, the different doors that we could possibly go to now.
Where are we now? The entrance to the whole thing?
No,
just at the entrance.
No, I have you at the entrance to the pestilent, the putrescent level, with the one that has the that had the murals on the walls.
Right. So we're going to go down those stairs into the room that has 5 and 6. If you're looking at the Otherworld, what I just posted in.
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah.
Also, we did 8 already. To be clear, 8 is done now.
I think.
Okay. Yeah. Is 8 done?
Well, I guess we could go back and search for secret doors more or something.
Wait.
Here, I'll post the new one here.
Okay, thank you.
I think 8's done.
Because we just did, the 8 was where the bed was, and then...
Right, okay, and then we found the secret door. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so then our choices from here would be...
I guess there's lots.
5 and 6 are the closest.
Yeah. Let's check 6. Was there a trap?
Yeah, there was a deception behind 6.
Behind 6. Okay. So do you want to check 5 first then?
I'm kind of partial to 4 myself.
Okay. Well then, let's.
We know there's no trap behind 4 or 5.
Let's start with 4 then, and we are at. Yeah, so that means we need to go west out of this chamber.
All right.
If down the stairs first, and once we're down.
Yep.
Okay. If that's the case, I'll describe this chamber. It actually takes 30 feet to get up into the center of this wide chamber. crack in the wall with putrescence flowing out into a pool down at the base. There is a door in the southeast corner, a door straight across from you, and then an open door directly to the west with murals on the walls.
Do we ever look behind those
I'm sorry, you
murals
took the
just out of
murals.
We
curiosity?
took the murals off. Yeah.
Right on.
Right, okay.
One question, Ross. Like, since we've removed the murals, has the putrescence expanded at all, or does it seem to be about the same?
It seems to be about the same.
Yeah, just a question.
Yeah.
Okay, through the western door then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Whoops. Okay. So you travel 65 feet to come to the first intersection that has a closed door here on the west end, and then an open area here to the east.
Right. That closed door is our target right there.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I know this
You
isn't
turned
your
it
marching
open.
order.
I did it last time.
But I'll do it this time.
Okay, you should be able to just click on the door.
I look up first.
Sure, yeah, you take a look up, and here the stone ceiling actually seems intact and sturdy.
The first door I've opened in this dungeon, and it feels as though I've done this many times before. Cautiously, with spear in one hand and my shield holstered, I open the door.
Very well. When you open the door, you see in this room, like many rooms, detritus, dried, things like barreling, a portion of a ladder, some chunks of stone, some old sacks that have long since rotted. All of the walls appear to be intact, as well as the ceiling. You see no cracks or holes. There is a long dead fireplace where it looks like it has an oven, and it looks like it has you can see that it just is a recess in the wall and then stone, and there's no holes, there's no entrances or ups or downs or anything. The other thing is that the floors, it seems like this room has, they brought wood down here. The wood has, like the wood on the doors, petrified and bloated, and you think might crack under your weight. Otherwise, there's nothing of this is just an empty room.
I confess I'm fascinated by what you describe as an oven.
Right.
So there's like a cooking place here?
Yeah.
An intact ceiling and no ventilation.
Well, it looks like whatever could have done that in the past is not here. So, if it had any ventilation, it's either fallen in or this was moved or something.
And when you
It
say
doesn't
that
have
you
an
think the
outlet.
floor would collapse under our weight, does that mean that are there holes in it already?
No, it won't collapse. It's backed. It's a layer of petrified wood over a solid
Yeah,
stone
like,
floor.
if
But
anybody-
it may crack and crumble under our feet. It's more noisy than dangerous.
Yeah, like the wood is in bad shape, and there's stone and dirt beneath it.
Okay.
Do you see something?
Yeah. Let's spend some time investigating that
Sure.
wood. I mean, let's look around. Let's test it with like the butts of our spears and our staves and stuff like that. Like
I'll peel up some boards to see if there's anything underneath.
yeah.
It might not be a trap, but it could be a hazard.
Yeah.
Or it could be something like something else, something mysterious.
As you enter the room and start checking the boards, you find that it causes a tremendous amount of noise. It cracks and creaks loudly under your feet, echoing
It's
down
like
the
stepping on
halls.
glass.
You check the floors, and it looks like that there's no crawl space. You don't find any holes or anything like that. No storage space.
Okay. Well, I'm content.
Okay, yeah, me too.
All right, so
Having
let's
some empty rooms.
leave out of here and head up back into the big chamber and investigate the northern door there.
Number 5.
For me?
You said a big chamber? Well, anyways,
No,
you leave
back
the...
up.
Well, just I'm not looking at your player-facing map, so and
North
that's
out
okay.
of-
No. So yeah, you leave the room and you go straight ahead and return to the main chamber you started in. Is that
Yes.
very well? Okay. All right. So you travel about 60 feet.
Okay. And then we want to investigate the northern door.
All right.
Any markings around it or anything?
Yeah. At this point, you've spent in dungeon time, so this is also your lantern oil. It's been 2 hours. Algar, roll a d6, please.
Once again, I am called upon to decide the fate of the party. Truly, I am instrumental in our success or our failure. In this case, it is our success in which I am instrumental. 3.
You hear this before anyone else does. You hear after you started coming back down this hall. You hear the noises of. Let me pan the camera here down this hall. You hear things echoing lightly for you. No one else hears it. You hear it clambering down the hall or shambling figures in the dark.
Alright. Oh. From the west. Shamblers come. They walk on human legs. They are with an unsteady pace.
Prepare yourselves.
The ill, the dead? Be cautious.
I'll run and see if I can beat them to the door to try to block it somehow.
That's a good call. I'll assist.
All right. How do you block the door?
I just start rooting through my pouches, and
I have titans from
my-
Dalton's old kit. We can use
Nice.
them to nail the door shut.
Yeah, I've got a hammer and spikes as well, so I'm trying to unroll my backpack as I'm running.
Okay.
And just keeping my shoulder against the door first, and then trying to pull out the backpack and that kind of thing.
Shall we not just eliminate them?
Sure, if
You,
you want. This is whatever you want to do.
Do they have money? Then why if not, then why bother?
Well,
If
good
we can
point.
just turn them easily, I don't want to get into a. Yeah, if they're just zombies, that'd be cool. But
Okay. All right. Well, let's.
I'm worried about everything in here.
Everything here
Yeah.
seems to carry some foul taint.
Fair enough.
All right. It does cause some noise, but other than that, you're able to get to the door before them and hammer it shut.
I just have a note. Oh, it's just sorry. I just have a note on my map. I can't even remember this, but there was goo zombies, up in one of these rooms. So that's kind of what
You hammer the door shut, and for the rest of you, for the most part, you're not even able to hear this thing that Algar has pointed out, and you feel pretty confident that it'll take quite a bit to be able to get that door open right now.
Okay.
That's a hold for the
Okay.
neck with the knots.
So you were going to say there's something. What is it? Markings near the door. That northern door.
Yeah, about the northern door. Nope. It looks like one of the same types of doors throughout the rest of this level that you've seen.
Okay, let's have it open, boys.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I guess it's my turn.
I'm afraid it is.
Yeah.
All right.
I will open it and step aside.
You open the door and step
Yes.
aside. Okay. All right. The door opens. It reveals a stone hallway. This hallway of stone is different than the others. It has a decorative quality, maybe high church, maybe palace-like. But actually, come to think of it, Father Bloombad, you would recognize this. These are the types of floors that adorn the temples, the ancient ones, and parts of Albion.
Armies of the Light. Here, this is your base camp.
It was at one time. I mean, it'd be nice to see some remnant of that still surviving. That's for sure.
Yes. Shall we look for traps, friend?
Well, we know that 30 feet's good because I did that last week.
Okay.
This hallway.
If we move up 30 feet, I'll take the lead, and I'll move 30 feet, and then I'll cast spine traps.
Illuminate thy path, O light.
All right. There's something about this. Oh, okay.
What weirdness now unfurls?
You do not detect any traps.
Okay.
Love it.
This is a narrow passage. I'm going to move you all up. You can only fit about 2 abreast here.
Yeah.
I'm going to pan the camera.
All right, Alaric. Alaric bravely volunteers to be in front.
Very well.
Okay.
Alaric opens the door. Goes right in.
Oh.
It's his turn to take the L.
Oh, macaroons! Look at that.
I'm going to just move Magnus just so that you all can see what's in here, and then I'll describe what you see.
Gross. Mop it up.
Oh.
There's a pool in the center of this room as well, of this putrescence. There are a few dead bodies about the room that have mostly become jelly, but you can see that they're about half decomposed on their backs and bellies. There are shelves in this room. Many of the books have been removed, most of them, in fact. There is a bas-relief carving at the north end of the room's west wall of a left hand.
Right.
And there is a passageway as well, where the pool, like a river, flowing into this puddle, continues to the east.
Left hand strike me as a theme here.
Yes, I think we might have been in here before.
You also
do we
hear
recognize
a
this room?
noise.
Okay.
We hear a voice, you said.
A noise.
Oh, a noise.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Do we recognize this room? Have we? I think I didn't map it right because I don't think we saw this picture, but I think we may have been here before and teleported in from that hand on the northeast corner.
Yeah,
that really does make a difference. Go ahead. I'm almost positive, but go ahead.
Is the answer no, that we don't recognize the room?
You tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be the room because how I drew it off of Ross's description last time seems really close.
Yeah. Okay. So, tell me about this. You hear a noise. Where's the noise from?
Yeah. This putrescence that's flowing here. You hear something burbling and bubbling off in this direction to the east.
Okay.
This is where I wrote goo zombies, by the way.
Right.
There's no shortage of goo.
No.
Okay. So, is this picture accurate?
No.
Okay. So, is there room to there's bookshelves, desks.
There are
like
desks. Yeah, so that's a good question. There are desks. It's clearly a library. These are not just desks, but mostly shelves. There are a couple of places with tables. There are a few tables and shelves. I'm sorry, these are not desks. They're shelves. Looks like they were mostly stripped bare of anything useful. You don't see any books left of any value here.
Okay. So then, the puddle of putrescence, can we get around it?
What would be your intention? Is it to try to move around it to move? Go ahead, sorry.
I want to be able to see down the east passageway without having to walk through goo to do it. And I would like to,
Okay, yeah, you don't have to roll dice for that, but if you're trying to do that, like if you come to this corner, you could hug the wall, like literally like cliffhanger hugging, to get away from it, and then you think you would, you wouldn't step in it unless something forced you into it.
Well, it's worth a look.
Okay. Yeah, let me move everybody in just so... Now, I know you're not in this. It's kind of horrifying to even move your token here, but as we've established, your token and the VTT is not... I like to think of the VTT as like in real life, if we were meeting at a table, it's like a big chess X, right? And, it's not a video game, it's like chess X, and if there were a chess X mat on the table, I'd move miniatures around on it, and then I'd move them off to the side and draw something new, like it's abstract, right?
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense, but...
No, it makes sense.
That's how I am in real life.
It's not a big stretch.
Okay. I appreciate that, because... all right. Yeah, you all see something astonishing, and I also know you're not moving, but just so you can see this. Something absolutely astonishing here in this other room. It is something absolutely horrifying that you see, and I will describe it to you. I think this deserves creepy music.
Oh, geez.
Music it is.
You see here a fountain of putrescence. It towers up. Let's see. It is a huge room. It reeks with rot and disease. There is an overwhelming miasma. There's a huge central pool and a fountain full of pus and filth. And at the middle of the pool, the liquid fountain, it fountains upwards to a height of 5 feet, and there are 5 large rivulets of fluid trickling away from the fountain, threading their way across the floor, disappearing down corridors and into gaps in the walls. It's clear to you, Father Bloombad, that this place was once a holy temple of the light, befouled beyond imagination by the machinations of chaos. There's a huge alcove in the northwest wall, and in that alcove is a 10-foot tall statue of a benevolent-looking figure wearing white painted robes. However, the statue is splashed with blood and filth across it. It wears a grisly necklace made of human hands, only left hands. Let me see. I have a picture of it. I'll show it to you.
This is awesome.
This is 10 feet tall. That's why the hands are little. And they're normal human hands, but they're left hands only. It's draped around the statue's neck like some kind of psychopathic offering. Otherwise, this fountain of pestilence is similar to the smaller pools. As you begin to approach it, as you see it, all of a sudden, growing lumps form among the pool, and they rise. And you can roll for initiative, as it has taken notice of you.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And you can declare spells. As these lumps start to form from the pool.
In the middle? The fountain in the middle?
Yeah, it forms in the fountain.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
What do you think? Is this a runaway situation or what?
Are these humanoids?
Well, I'll tell you
Eyes are
exactly what they look like after they come out of the muck. They are like little babies, like cherubim, but they have like bat wings and horns and pimples, and their guts are falling out, and they look like those little Nurgle Chaos demons, but with wings. And yeah, and they giggle.
Okay.
They have new friends.
And are they all armed like that with daggers, or do they have different kind of weapons? Or
they look like they have claws and daggers, and sometimes their hands are like clawed hands and stuff. That they don't all look like this one thing. They're all just little mutant, flying demon babies.
I guess what I'm checking to see if they have any missile weapons.
Oh yeah, you don't see any missile weapons. A good question.
Okay. Well then, I will declare Webb.
All right, you do that. And let's see here. I can't
Lure them
remember.
into the hallway.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I'm wondering if this is going to be a situation where this is totally metagaming, but some kind of situation where they like keep coming out of this thing. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but like, let's just be aware that might just be for them.
They fly forward. Make sure they can actually fly that far. And you're trying to like move back and bring them all into one place, right? Like this. Yeah.
Armored types, please stay in front.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, you cast web, and you do it. You create a big web here.
Oh, I cast it already?
Well, they moved, but I don't think. Let me make sure. I don't think they can start. Oh no, they can get to you.
What a horrible little goblin.
Unfortunately, they get to you all. That's what happens.
Well, I would like it if Monacan was not in front, I guess.
Of course, yeah. Your order of marches. I assume the Crusader dude, and then you got spears. That's my understanding of it. And then you got the shooty guys, and then the spell guy.
Yeah.
I also assume everyone is trying to simultaneously stay away from this putrescence, but that will be a complication as we go.
Okay.
So probably you even have to kind of spread out and stagger your order of march out the way it usually would be, which is not ideal at all.
C'est la vie.
Yep.
Make do as you must.
All right. So let's see. They move. Any missile fire can do that, though.
That's if you missile fire, you can't do melee, right?
If you move, you can't do missile fire. But if you do missile fire, that's a good question.
By the way, I'd definitely be moving to try and pull them back into the hallway, as Magnus requested.
I apologize.
So,
I can't imagine missiles and
I'm gonna say no.
melee in the same.
I remember in OSE or something, I was like, hey, it doesn't say that, and I was like letting people do it, and I was like, because I'm usually that way, and I can't remember, but I feel like we're not doing that with this. Anyways, yeah,
we are.
Okay, so is missile fire possible?
Yeah, missile fire is possible
without shooting into melee.
That's a good point. That's the whole point of them being able to move, and that's the
They are
advantage.
flying, right?
They are flying too. But let's see here. They are flying. You would you could hit your friend. Yeah. That's the whole, to me, that's the whole tactical point of it, or else why would you even...
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Movement, missile fire, melee.
Okay,
and
yeah.
of course, anybody else can move.
I'll thrust my spear over Bloombad's shoulder. Try to hit one of these things. I'm assuming they've got more than one hit dice.
They do. Oh God. Sorry.
Okay, I hit with. I got an 18. I mean, hit armor class like really.
You hit
something huge.
Your target is ascending armor class 16.
I hit.
Yeah, that
7
hits.
damage.
7 damage. All right, sorry, I got to do some math here now. I got to do some math. So Alaric is hit for 4 points of damage.
Two d6 damage.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And actually, that's not even it. Actually, 10 damage.
Holy shit.
That was 4. Plus 1d4. Is it attacking with multiple, like, is it biting and...
Yeah, it's slashing and biting into Alaric and all kinds of stuff. And also, let's see here, plus 4 for Father Bloombad. Does a 16 hit Father Bloombad? No, right?
AC 18, yeah.
Great, okay.
Well, that's great.
All right. And then lastly...
Magnus and Bloombad, your spells. Oh my gosh, what's that? Oh, that must be their hit points.
Okay. All right. How much damage did you say you did with
7.
7 damage. Okay. And
Webb.
also let's see, let's do Alaric as well. Oof. Okay. All right. Yeah, Webb goes off, and it. I think. I mean, you can just pick where it happens, right?
Yeah, it's 20. What is it? 10 by 10 by 10 by 20, and it's going to stretch across the entire hallway and encompass all of them. Hopefully, it suspends them in the air.
All right, you
Well,
create
actually, I
this
don't really
huge
care where
web.
it suspends them, but yeah,
And how long does it last?
lasts a damn long time.
Oh,
A long time.
It's about to matter a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, I'll get back to you on that.
Depends what
Anybody?
hit does.
It sort of does. Hold on a second, I'm looking at it.
Meanwhile, does anybody else hit them in their melee attack? All right, no one else hits them.
Yeah. And I'm using my, hold on, isn't it Silver Mace?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is extremely difficult to get through the mass. It takes 1 turn if a torch and sword, or flaming sword, and creatures larger than a horse can break through in 2 turns. So that means, at the very best, with sword and torch, it would take 1 turn, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes for creatures larger than a horse without the sword. It says humans alone take more time to break through, perhaps 3 to 4 turns or longer at the referee's discretion.
All right, so no one else hit, no one else was able to attack, and that was all the spells, right?
But that's how long it takes to get out. The duration of the spell is 8 hours.
Okay, this may be huge. That was good to know. The duration is actually really important, and that's what I... let's see. If that's the case, you see more forms burble and grow within the fountain. And,
Let's leave.
I agree.
Holy.
It's time to show the better part of valor.
Let's lock doors and stay out of this until we're...
Can we... No, we don't want to set them on fire. It'll burn the web. Can we... There's not really any point to sticking around just to slay these things, is there?
Well, how long was it before these other ones came out, Ross, from the pool?
Immediately, the next round.
Oh my gosh. How are we supposed to
We leave.
deal with that?
We leave and think about it.
Main force.
Yeah.
Okay.
What we've got.
Well, they're in the web, so I'm gonna say they can't attack you. So you just make it away here, and
let's lock this door. Like, let's really tighten that door shut.
you flee down
They
the
might be able to come
halls.
through the reveal.
What's that?
Might be able to come through the rivulet.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's other ways, right?
Yeah. Yeah, let's move.
So you run, and the sounds of these giggling, screeching, demonic things begin to fade, as well as the sounds of this burbling, hateful goop. Let's see here. Let's close the door. You just close them?
Well, no, I think let's that first door, just south of the room with the desks or whatever. Let's use spikes to seal it.
Got spikes to spike it with. Let's spike it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's my, at least, I don't know, Chris, if you're okay with that, but that's my vote.
Oh, I agree. No, I'm at this point. Yeah. I'm just thinking about our lives. I actually think we should just leave. I mean, because here's the thing: if it's alerted to our presence now and it can move through that stuff, do we really want to stick around?
Well, we could go down to, if you look on the map on the Discord map, we could go all the way down to 2 or something, like leave doors, because it could go down southwest through the rivulets and come out at us here, right? But there's other places to explore further away in the last 25 minutes we have.
I'm worried about our retreat being blocked.
Yeah.
Well, we can always retreat up the way that we first came down here, which is through that forbidden room.
Right.
Forbidden room.
Right.
I can't remember where that goes to, but I'll figure it out here. Oh, to it goes all the way up to level 1, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
we're
does.
back when we get okay. When we get back, hold on. Okay. When we get back to this room, is there any perturbation of the liquid in this room?
No.
Okay. Well, that's encouraging then. Shall we take care of that door with a trap behind it?
Well, the only concern with that is that it's right. That if you look at the map I posted, I'm pretty sure that he's not very far up that rivulet to the.
I know, but the
fountain.
right. Yeah, but the good part is we're right next to the stairs if we need to run, and we'll at least know that they can move along that. We'll know.
Sure.
We'll at least know that that's a capability of theirs. We should just keep a sharp watch on it while we're examining the door.
Yeah, maybe.
my
I think,
Go ahead.
I think there's still a little bit of time left on my fine traps.
Really?
Okay.
20 minutes.
Yeah. I don't think we were
Yeah.
occupied for 20 minutes just now. So.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe we
you're
should
right.
just leave a watch out by the rivulet then,
Yeah.
just in case we hear giggling coming down there.
Yeah, and then Bloombat and Monacan together can maybe investigate what's going on behind that door, or something. I guess we'll just open it first and see what we're dealing with, because it wasn't the door itself that was trapped; it was something behind
The
the door.
deception beyond it.
I
Yeah,
shall haul open the door.
All right, you open the door, and in this room you see. I'll have to pull you in so you can see, but there's this room is kept in nearly immaculate condition. There is a torch sconce. There's no torch in it. I'm sorry, 2 of them. There are 3 alcoves, semicircular alcoves with a stone shelf. Each shelf holds a small statue made of gold. You suspect that these statues are probably worth 2,000 gold each. One is one of a gargoyle, another is one of a winged horse, and one is a unicorn. So let's see, this one I'm going to draw. I'll just do the first letter here in red. This is a gargoyle, winged horse, and unicorn.
I see. Is my trap sense going off?
You sense a deception from your spell. You sense it coming from the unicorn.
From the unicorn. Unexpected.
Let's have Menaken with Bloombad to guide him have a look.
Well, it might animate and attack us, because remember there was a deception with that stone wall, and it turned out to be a giant serpent.
Right, but you, so we were able to ask questions like, is it the whole unicorn that's that he sees, or is it like, is there a mechanism under it, behind it, or is there no mechanism? It's just the the unicorn itself is.
The unicorn itself has a deception about it. There's something.
I'd like to suggest that we loot the other two, maybe, and then deal with the unicorn. Because what if we go to the unicorn, it turns into a giant unicorn demon, and then it's hard for us to get the other two.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it could be that the other two.
I agree. I agree. I am paranoid, and I would like to have Menaken. I know there's no traps per se, but is there any hook, pressure plate, connector, anything
it's
like?
It's a magical trap. It's a deception, so it's probably a magical trap.
Right. No. What I mean is, would it go like? Is there whatever?
What do you think?
It's a proximity.
I'm overthinking it. Yeah. But maybe it's keyed to go off if you remove one of the other.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Things,
we don't know,
right?
like.
Well, let's get ready. Let's get ready then.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a guess. I mean, what would be the?
Is this central? Is this just artwork here in the center? Is that a table or just a design in the floor? Or
it's a design in the floor.
Okay.
What was the W again? Gargoyle, and what was the W again?
Winged horse, Pegasus.
Winged horse, right.
So we've got two horses, a gargoyle, and the gargoyle doesn't read as a problem. It's the unicorn that reads as a problem.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I agree with Father Bloombad's plan. Let's take the other. Or was that your plan, Flanagan? But the plan to take the other two statues first, and then yeah, like Father Bloombad said, let's get ready.
Okay.
All right, you take them. Where do you take them?
Nothing happens.
Well, put them into a sack.
Pick them up and put them in a sack.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff them in a sack. In the room.
These are made of solid gold. They're heavy. Like I said, probably 2,000 gold pieces each. Okay. Put them in your backpacks or however you're carrying them. Nothing happens.
All right. So what about this unicorn, everyone?
Oh,
I said we
leave it.
Leave it? Okay, yeah.
Cut and run.
That's awesome.
Take the money and run.
Okay.
That's awesome. You have chosen wisely.
Look, I mean, if you're not going to use the info that the spell gives you, what good is the spell ultimately?
Amazing.
Yeah,
all right.
We have a large, heavy burden as it is, and I feel like I don't want to be too greedy here.
We have a healthy respect for this dungeon, don't we?
You also still have treasure in the Dalton room, which no longer has a Dalton in it, I assume, but it still has the treasure you couldn't carry from the additional treasure.
It's rarely, if ever,
500 gold
worthwhile to
pieces,
carry
etc.
several hundred pounds of copper.
Oh, well, let's get that too. I thought we had consolidated everything and brought it out with us.
No, it was 2 loads. You wouldn't be able to carry it all.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get this second load.
Let's get the second load going then.
Sure.
Okay. If you do that, then I think we're coming to time tonight. Because,
okay. Well, quick question, technical question. Any time left at all on the trap sense?
Yeah.
Probably not, but I have another one.
And if you're going to go to the Dalton room, you can just set these things down if you want to explore. Now, admittedly, you're right? Like something could come out,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's true.
A random encounter.
I'm not going to. Or something that's here. There's an ecosystem here. There are things moving around. They have their own plans. So I'm not trying to.
We've all encountered those random encounters, randomly, as it were.
I thought we can run. But
I can cast again if you require it, Magnus.
Okay, what are we looking at here? We're looking at...
I feel like we do have a lot to talk about anyway, but I mean...
Okay.
So,
Yeah, let's... I agree. And so, again, I think we have a pretty good load so far, so...
All right, yeah,
let's go home.
You go back to the Dalton room, you get all of the treasure from the other room as well, and 2 statues worth 2,000 gold each, and you're able to make it back safely to, and I'm going to bring you to the Hounds Lodge, because I bet this is a time when you need to chat. But you make it back alive, back to Caden's Rest.
That was good.
Now,
Rewarding.
there is...
Look at that map. I'm so stoked. I'm so excited that we managed to loop that together.
And also, I'm excited to find the source of the putrescence, because there we have a quest. That's a quest.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's really. It's going to be so frustrating not to be able to you can't what do we do with that? You just got to let it sit there.
And
a 50-gallon drum of holy water.
Yeah.
So someone on Reddit today said that tabletop games don't work without a quest, and I think what's interesting to me is, well, that's not true. I was going to say that other than when we specifically said, hey, let's take this season, we're going to go do a quest, literally. Other than when we said that's, I don't think there's been anyone who's given you a quest, but there has been a couple when I think about it.
Well,
but
when I joined
none. Generally speaking, you have your own plans. You have your own plans.
Yeah.
You don't need somebody to tell you what you want to do.
It's emergent.
Stuff going on.
Yeah.
And other people are making, there's...
Yeah. Well, anyways, next week the group caller is Algar, and I think this is huge. What do you get back? What do you decide to do about this this abomination at the heart of the Mouth of Doom? What do you say? Are you going to go back? Or are you going to what's the plan? Go ahead.
My feeling is that it would be a good time to speak to a merchant lord or two, and begin to marshal some greater resources if we can. And we can't also leave for too long the affairs of Caden's Rest. This place will start running itself without us if we're not careful. It could start running counter to our interests.
Yeah.
It was. Magnus agrees with Minakin. It was a mistake to open this place up to everybody, but since we did, we have to deal with that now and take responsibility for our actions and we, not to put too fine a point on it, we need to lord it over this place a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yes, and so we need to. But as part of that, I received this, and I'll let the group know completely about the communication I received from, in case I hadn't already. He sent me this package. It included this wondrous item here, and I'll hold up the wand. I haven't even really tested it at all, but nonetheless, if he's able to acquire things like this, then it means that he can acquire other things as well. And yes, and he and other merchant lords are present and powerful. So that's my suggestion, is that we take some time to speak to have a little mini urban adventure. I don't know if it needs to be next session, but it needs to be soon. And also, we do need to leave for that ferry party, so it might be the only. So anyway,
I'm amenable to the idea. I think we should go for it.
Okay.
Muddle around in the city a bit, bother the locals.
How do you feel, Bloombad, about that?
Yeah, maybe we could try to set up like a guild extension.
Yeah.
All right. So let me kind of backwards plan. Just to think about it. It actually sounds like you have kind of an idea of a ways here, because if you went west to Port Town next week, then the next week you came back to King's Rest, and the next week you departed for the Sprites Festival. It sounds like that's kind of like the next two things, right?
Does meeting with that Lord mean going out west?
Yes, I think so.
I thought he was in
the suburbs.
I thought he was in town. I thought because Magnus sent a package to me through Magnus somehow, or not Magnus, Monacan. I thought he was in town. I thought he was one of the new merchant, powerful merchant guys that was doing stuff here.
So they're basically, Port Town is in Dalrata. I said if that right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also in a state of collapse. So these kind of tribal chiefs have sort of become like, what do you call it, robber barons as well, some to various extents, and opportunists, and so there's this sort of state of like it's almost like how Bard's Gate was, where you have like these different merchant / former petty lords that all kind of like Caden's Rest. It's like a council of like warlords that like.
I thought so. Are we still the main power in Caden's Rest?
Yes, but these are all their minions have moved in, and the reason for that is because of demand. Because they brought in builders, and they built a bridge, and they have stuff to sell, and
so those guys who are collecting tolls, they're working for someone who's in Port Town.
Yeah, these are people that are in the environs of Port Town on the west coast.
Oh, goodness gracious! Yeah, well, we have to make contact with these people then. I thought they were here in town.
Right? No, they're bigger. They're a bigger deal than that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have the choice of not dealing with them immediately. That sounds like it's a long journey, and just dealing with their minions, and their minions can go talk to the Lord, I guess. I mean, you're already in touch with the Lord, I suppose. But
I'm not. He invited me for an audience. And,
well, so from Flanagan's perspective, I guess he hasn't been invited, and he's just thinking of what you were saying before, which is like, we need to just show people here who's boss, and start talk to whoever is in charge in these suburbs, in the slums or whatever, and just like get the mercenaries out and make sure they know.
Yeah. That's something, Ross, because I definitely want to, if it's not I was under the assumption that a handful of these guys were actually here running things. If they're not, then I want to find out, like, that's kind of what Monacan, some thugs delivered a package to me.
Yeah, so let me kind of frame some options, if I may. Gameplay-centric one, kind of things that you can do. One is that I'll say you can make it to Port Town and back. I get it. That's kind of like you're assuming a lot, but I'm going to say you can do it. It would be, I think, entirely urban. There is a dungeon there, of course, which you could also go to. But
yes,
it's a kind of criminal town on the West Coast. I want to make sure I understand your goals clearly. But you can make it, and you can make it back. Okay. The other thing is, he has an audience, or what he's been invited to speak with Fasia Alim. And anyways, the other option is you could stay in the environs of Caden's Rest, and it could be something like, see, I'm trying to think of what that would look like. I suppose it could just be entirely open-ended, and you could just, at your pace, go around and assert your power. What I don't think you have to do is start thinking about how many mercenaries need to guard this outpost and how many do I need to send here.
No. Here's an idea, right? We're supposed to be the lords of this place. That much is certain. We can't escape it. We can ignore it to our peril, or we can start acting like it.
Yeah.
Which means go around and see. So there's always some peasant is always arguing with his neighbor over a fence line or something along those lines. Let's go about and let's go and solve a few minor petty disputes for these little people and let them know we're on their side.
Okay.
Well,
It sounds like what we're looking for is, people walking around with exclamation points over their heads.
If you will, but also through that we may get a better sense for how things have started to work down in amongst the hoi polloi.
Something
there's
we've...
also-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's also like a person named Fiongon or whatever, who's a merchant lord, or who I think lives in the Fingon or whatever his name is, who lives outside of Caden's Rest. Like
No,
here.
Ross just said that he's in Port Town.
Oh,
All these guys are in Port Town.
Is this person also in Port Town, Ross?
Fingon is it's I'm looking back here at my notes.
I expressly asked about the guy who had built the bridge. Who was collecting tolls at the bridge.
I'm sorry, I thought that was... Oh, here we go. Yes, I have him here. He is also in Port Town.
Oh, okay. Well, they must have. So they got people here. This is another thing I think we could do. Yeah, we could go resolve some disputes, but we could also find out, go up the ladder from who's collecting tolls, who's Fingon's representative here, and have a conversation with him and make sure that they know who's boss, right? And maybe even start asking, for tax. Say we're going to start charging taxes are going to start coming because we're going to have people out here who are making sure that the law is being observed and that order is being that's us who does that. And we eventually, it's a favor right now, but eventually we're going to be charging for it because it's a service as the lords of this place. I don't know, that kind of thing.
Well, if we don't, I mean, yeah. How is Magnus is interested. How is justice administered? We already had talked about using the Hounds as police.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if that's what they're already doing, going on patrols, mounted, right? They're mounted patrols.
I don't know if we've addressed that yet, but
we have. Yeah, we have. We talked about it because I remember making a comment about mounted being an entirely different thing than unmounted.
Well, but to Jay's point, I
don't know if we pressed go on that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, we definitely should. I mean, see, I thought, I'm glad we asked this because I was under the misapprehension that these merchant lords were sort of providing some kind of order in the slums that are growing, and maybe they are from afar, but yeah, that's the kind of thing. I want to know. I want to know what's up. Well, and we can't allow, and I'll just say it. I'll look around at everyone who is definitely holier than I.
Magnus he's the guy that
And I'll say, we cannot have an unregulated thieves guild competing with each other in a place that we're supposed to be responsible for. So we need to regulate that situation, and we need to get it under control and make sure people are not being taken advantage of unduly. There will always be some fools, and there will always be those who prey upon them, but we can at least minimize it.
Well, I've been thinking exactly the same thing.
Yes, their agent is most likely a thief with some type of influence in the area. A man of power.
I look at Manakan. We need, yes, these are things we need to get in order. So I guess really though, then all that being said, is it Algus?
Algus?
Algar?
Oh, Algar. Yeah.
Yes, Algar.
What are you leaning? What's your preference for what to actually do next time?
And frankly, I'm inclined to get to know the locals as well, especially if I'm being impressed into a position of authority by virtue of rank in my guild. So I think it's a sensible plan, and I'm all for it.
So
there's a lot of good work to be done in this area, and I'd like to see it get done.
All right, next week, unleash the Hounds onto Caden's Rest's environs, and
Rex will definitely be coming along on that trip too.
And that
everyone should get to know Rex.
That ends the adventure for tonight. Mythic Mountains RPG is a private online play club that focuses on folk RPGs. Folk RPGs are the games that belong to all of us. They're what actually happens at a table between friends. It's their voice that has the authority on what is fun and what works for them. Weekly, we upload our games to allow others to sit in with us. The channel isn't monetized. We don't own the artwork, music, software, or games shown in these actual plays, and you can find links to their authors in the description. Like, subscribe, and share if you wish, or don't. Just like games in person, you're welcome to pull up a chair, sit in, and watch some of our games. No performances, no fancy equipment, just regular people playing folk pencil and paper role-playing games and having a good time. We hope these games will prove a source of enjoyment to anyone just wanting to listen in, anyone looking for examples of how actual groups run and play folk RPGs, and most importantly, if you haven't found your group yet, you're welcome here at ours.